Chartered Financial Analyst, one of the most popular courses in India in the field of finance. So when students are thinking about, I want to do CFA, right? A lot of them actually don't even know what the full form is, right? It just has the C or CA in the name, the word chartered in the name. They've heard their friends in colleges, they've heard that agar finance mein jana hai, if I want to do something in the field of finance and I don't want to do CA, right? And everybody suggests CA. There are a lot of job opportunities that you find even in India, forget overseas right now. Only in India, you will see that a lot of people look for CA/CFA/MBA, and you know for a fact that CFA has massive potential. And there's a huge reason. The course of CFA is amazing. For a lot of you guys who want to create a career in the field of finance, CFA is the right course for you. So in this video, we're going to go through the details of helping you guys figure out if CFA is the right option for you. So guys, before I jump into the details, if this is the first time you're visiting the channel, then please do subscribe. We have a lot of videos in which we explain and try to counsel you guys on the field of finance and accounts and what kind of qualifications you all should take up. If you've been visiting the channel, then thank you so much for your support. Please do leave a like and comment so others like you can help find us. Okay, let's jump into it, right? So CFA is Chartered Financial Analyst. It is the #1 course in the field of finance and investment management. So in India, I know a lot of students, forget India, students overall, sometimes interchange the word finance and accounts, and you have to be very clear. We made a video explaining the difference of finance and accounts. So after this video, please do watch it because that will help you understand what CFA will all be about, because it's not about accounts, it's more about finance. I used to work in PwC, right? Now in PwC, I had a friend with me. I've used this example multiple times, right? I have a friend, Sharan. He was a chartered accountant. He completed CFA Level 1 when he was with me in PwC. His goal, by the way, at the end of this, was to work in investment banking overseas. Okay. So what he did was, with his CA, he completed CFA. He did Level 1 and Level 2 when I was in PwC with me. Then he went and started working at Citibank because Citibank accepts CFAs. And then he finished Level 3 there, went overseas, went to US to Rice University where he studied his MBA, and maybe now he's working in the field of investment banking because CFA plus MBA is an amazing combination to jump into that field. If you all have watched Wolf of Wall Street or you have watched the series Billions, or if you all are a Bollywood fan, then you all would have watched Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, where Ritik's character, all these by the Wolf of Wall Street and series like Billions. In fact, even in Suits, right, what Lewis does, where they call him a financial wizard, right? A lot of this is what you get to cover or what you tend to become if you're a real star in CFA. So let me introduce CFA once again. It's Chartered Financial Analyst, the #1 course in the field of finance and investment management. CFA is based out of US, but it's a global qualification. There is also CFA India, which is now shut down. So please be very clear, this is not about the CFA India course. This is CFA US. What is the eligibility criteria? Simple answer, guys. You got to be in your last year of graduation. So for most of us, it means if you're doing your bachelor's, which is BCom or BBA or BAF or BMS or BFM, you should be in your 3rd year. If you're by chance into engineering, then it's your 4th year. And that's it. You need to have an international passport. This is crucial, guys. You need to have an international valid passport. There are other conditions on the website which doesn't apply to most of y'all. If y'all still want to understand that, then do reach out to us. We'll help you. But this is for most of y'all, right? So this is the eligibility criteria. Coming to the academic structure. The academic structure of CFA, first of all, CFA is split into 3 levels. Level 1, Level 2, Level 3. And each of these 3 levels has the same 10 subjects. The 10 subjects are financial statement analysis, equities, economics, ethics, portfolio management, derivatives, corporate issuers, which used to be corporate finance, alternative investments, fixed income, and I am forgetting the 10th one, but we'll put it on the screen. Right? This is the same for Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3. All that varies is the amount of weightage they ask on each subject in the exam. Right? In your Level 1, they put more emphasis on financial statement analysis, on ethics. They focus on quants, as they call it, right, in Level 1. Then Level 2 is more into equity, and Level 3 is completely into portfolio management. I'll explain what portfolio management is in a bit. That's what most of us want to do if you become a CFA. So this is the academic structure of CFA. Now, what is the duration? On an average, guys, a CFA will take between 2 to 3 years to complete comfortably. Most of the time you're going to do this with work, or if you start early in your college, that's great. So by the way, a lot of people call us, can I start in my 1st year or 2nd year? First of all, I will tell you all, you are only eligible if you're in your third year, assuming you're a bachelor student in commerce. Which means the earliest you can start studying, or you should start studying, is in your second year. Right? We have a lot of people who in the second year start studying, but we will not allow them to give the exam till they reach the third year. And in the second year, right, they can study very comfortably. They can study on weekdays, because there are batches for a lot of college students where a weekday session is more in depth, because we go much more in depth with hand holding, with more tests, with more mocks, with more doubt solving, so that you can cover more because you have time. Let's say you're in your third year and you want to speeden it up, then you can do it on weekends. You have self-paced lectures, which are recordings. You have a lot of ways to ensure that you can be prepared by your second year, so that in your third year you're ready to give the exam. If you're in your first year, you're still keen, then great, but do not start CFA Level 1 in your first year. But there are other options, right? You can start studying on financial markets. So again, we have a program called Ride of Investment, which with the Bombay Stock Exchange, where we help candidates understand the basics of financial markets. You can do an Excel course, although Excel course is something which I would again recommend do it while you start working, because that's when you'll really use it. But if you're in your first year, only thing I would request you not to do is tell yourself that, okay, I'm in my first year, CFA I can give in my third year, so I will directly start in my second year, and you'll waste your first year. Do not waste your first year. Do something. Call us, we'll help you what to do. But the main thing is that make sure that if you are aspirational, start studying CFA as soon as possible. So on an average, it takes 2 to 3 years, but the earliest you can, by the way, complete CFA is 18 months. I'll explain how. The exam window, right? This is important for you to understand. How does the exam window work? So exam window means when can you give the CFA level 1, 2, 3 exam. So CFA level 1 you can give 4 times a year, every quarter. You can give it in February, May, August and November. Level 2 you can give in May, August and November. And level 3 you can give in May and November. Next is the paper pattern. So level 1 is only MCQs. There are 180 MCQs that is split into part 1 and part 2 in the exam. Then in level 2, there are 88 MCQs, which are again split into 44, part 1, part 2. These are like case studies which you have to understand, but the answers you have to give in the form of MCQs. And level 3 is a split between subjective and MCQs. So subjective again is a case study which you have to actually answer in depth, and there are objective questions in level 3. This is the paper pattern. Next, the passing rate. So in CFA, we've seen that, of course, level 1 in the pandemic, the passing rate across the world has dropped a little. It ranges between 25-35%. Earlier, it used to be approximately 40-45%. Level 2 and level 3 is between 50 to 55%. So overall, across the world, CFA passing rate you can now assume is between 35 to 55%. That means on an average, 3 or 4 or 5 people out of 10 clear CFA. At Zell, we have the ability to help students clear at a 75 to 80% passing rate, which is 8 out of 10 students pass. And when it comes to the passing mark, what is the correction pattern? In CFA, they don't reveal how they really correct. It's extremely complicated. It's a percentile system. All I would request all of you all to do, what we push our students to do in their mock exams, is aim that in your level 1 or level 2 or level 3, each of the 10 subjects, each individually, you aim at scoring 70% per. Now, it may not really lead you to passing, but this is the highest chance that you have to clear with this mentality. Clear with 70% plus per subject. So this is the academic structure, right guys? Next is the scope. What can I become if I'm a CFA? And this, let me explain a little in depth with the Indian market first. So as CFA, right, we've got a lot of examples here, right? I have a friend, which I've used her example in a lot of other videos because she was part of my ACCA journey also. She's part of CFA also. She is now working at Barclays. Before that, she was working at CRISIL, and before that, she was working at PwC. In PwC, when she was working, she didn't have CFA. She left PwC, started CFA level 1. By level 2, she got a job in CRISIL. She cleared level 3, and now she's in Barclays. And her salary package is through the roof. She's in credit rating. I'll explain that in a bit. I have another friend who worked in a company called Anand Rathi at level 2 and was, I think, into product sales as a CFA. That's a huge opportunity. And I think her salary package was also in double-digit lakhs, if I'm not wrong. If I talk about our own students or our own faculties, let me split it level by level. Level 1, you can earn anywhere between 5 to 6 lakhs, assuming that of course, you go to the right company, to the right interview. Level 2 can range between 8 to 10 lakhs, and level 3 is just completely on your experience. Now, what kind of companies hire you, right? The big four are always looking. So KPMG, Deloitte, EY, PwC, Grant Thornton, BDO are the big companies. If I talk in other contexts, there are companies like Crystal, there are companies like Motilal Oswal, Anand Rathi, Barclays, like I've given an example of. These are the companies that a lot of students get hired in. One of our star faculty members, Aman Singhania, he is the Vice President of National Stock Exchange Products. He himself is a CFA. So the opportunities that we have as a CFA in India through the roof, right? These are the kind of companies, the kind of profiles, right? So I was mentioning earlier that the main thing most people want to get into is becoming a portfolio manager. So what is a portfolio manager? So if I'm a CFA and I want to become a portfolio manager, I'll ask you guys that, look, if you have any savings, right? Let's say you have 1 lakh rupees of savings, what do you do with it? You'll put it in the bank mostly, or you'll put it in the stock market. You might earn some interest or you might lose your money. But I am an expert as a CFA, and I'll tell you that give me a 1 lakh and I will collect 1 lakh from hundreds of people. I'll make a pool of money, which is called my corpus, right? It's going to go in a few crores. And knowing that I have to give you guys the best return, using my CFA knowledge, I'll put some in equity, some in mutual funds, some in real estate, some in gold, and try to make sure that I diversify risk while giving you guys the highest return. And in return, I'll take a fee. That is what a portfolio manager does. In India, the mutual funds, which we've heard of all this time, right? Mutual funds are the same thing, right? They take thousands of crores of rupees from the public, and then they try to put it in good avenues to give us a good return. The people who are making those decisions are generally CFAs, or at least they study what CFAs study, and they're portfolio managers. That's what portfolio management is. You can get into equity research. This is another profile. Equity research is you basically work with a company, you study the financial statements of different companies, you analyze how the company's been performing, you predict if the company is going to do well or not, and you tell your clients invest in this company. That's equity research. Right? Then you can get into investment banking, one of the most popular courses. We have another detailed video on CFA with MBA, which you should check out, which gives you the best chance of getting into investment banking. They are the intermediaries between a company which wants to raise money and a company which is a fund house which is willing to give money. So, even when two companies want to merge, right, they need an investment banker in the middle. So investment banking is a huge, high earning kind of a profile. So this is the scope of CFAs in India. And when it comes to international, guys, again, there's no limit, right? CFA being a US-based qualification, being globally recognized, you can go to literally from US to any other country and you can work in the field of finance, in the domain of finance with CFA. All right. Next is the fee structure. So I'm going to quickly tell you all the simplest way to think. CFA, you can complete between 3 to 4 lakhs total over a period of 3 years. Simple. This is split into two parts. One is what you pay the CFA Institute. What you pay the CFA Institute are the registration fees, which is now $350, and then there are the exam fees for each level, where there is an early bird standard deadline and a late fee, which on an average is, I think, $900, $1,200, and $1,550. Don't go into the depth of it right now. Just remember that 3 to 4 lakhs. All of this is paid in dollars. All of this is paid to the body. This, what you pay to the body, comprises of almost the entire 3 lakhs. The balance is mainly going to be towards your training fees, right? So you have 3 levels. For example, we train candidates for all the 3 levels, and the total fees which somebody would be spending can be anywhere between $1 lakh to $1.5 lakh depending on the levels they've taken. This will include study material. You'll have to take a calculator, which is a 4-5 grand, etc., etc. So overall, you can say approximately 3 to 4 lakhs is the total cost for you as a CFA. Lastly, guys, what is charter holder? CFA charter holder. When you complete level 3, you are known as a CFA level 3. But CFA has a condition that along with completing 3 levels, you should work for 3 years and 3,000 hours, which gets covered in 3 years. But 3 years you have to work in the field of investment or the markets. And if you work there and you finish a small ethics module, which is part of your CFA account, finishing the 3 levels, finishing your work experience, finishing the ethics module makes you a CFA charter holder, which is the highest level of that of a CFA. So yeah, I think, guys, this is all the information that most of you guys will need. If there is anything else that you would like to know, then please leave it in the comment. We'll definitely help you out with the details.